Okay, so we discussed solute and solvent in the last class. Okay, now there are some more definitions on page number 15 of related to solutions. Okay, we know that a solution is a chemical change when we add two things, when we add two or more than two things in each other. Either they form mixture or they form a solution, which we discussed before. Okay, and we will discuss solutions now. Okay, solutions when two things are chemically mixed in each other, completely miscible, soluble. A solute that dissolves in a particular solvent is known as soluble. Okay, that a substance is soluble in water. So we will say that a salt is soluble in water because it completely dissolves in it. Okay, next word is insoluble, a substance which does not dissolve in a solvent. Okay, two things are opposite to each other, soluble and insoluble. So there is a rule in chemistry um, that I don't know I told you or not, that like dissolves like. Did I told you in the last class? Did I tell you or not? No?
No.
Okay, maybe I told some other class because I take 5 sections of grade 8, so I just get confused sometimes. Okay, so this is a rule that like dissolves like. Okay, so it means that ionic compounds dissolve in ionic compounds, covalent compounds dissolve in covalent compounds. Okay, so like organic things, organic compounds, they dissolve in organic. Okay, organic means those compounds which are covalent in nature mostly. Okay, covalent in nature. So organic, you studied it in I think grade 7. Organic compounds are those which contains carbon and hydrogen. Do you remember carbon and hydrogen like methane, ethane, propane, butane, alkane, alkenes? Hmm? Yeah, in grade 7 you studied them. So they are the organic compounds are those hydrocarbons actually, which are made up of carbon and hydrogen, and they are covalent in nature. Okay, so the covalent compounds, they dissolve in only covalent compounds. That is why oil does not dissolve in water. Okay, oil does not dissolve in water because oil is covalent in nature and water is not covalent. It means water is a covalent, but it is not organic. Okay, it does not contain carbon and hydrogen. So organic things should dissolve in organic. Similarly, alcohol and water, these both things, they are inorganic in nature. So they will dissolve. Okay. So basically, like this is just the extra information which I'm telling you, that the things which are similar in chemistry, like they are organic in nature, or they are covalent in nature, or they are ionic in nature. So they dissolve in each other. Okay, and the things which are different, they don't dissolve, they are insoluble. They both are covalent in nature, that's why they dissolve. Okay, so one thing should be common in them. Either they should be covalent or they should be organic. Okay, so they will dissolve. Or now like salt and water. Okay, salt plus water, it's reversible, it's a mixture, so it's reversible. But salt, when we add salt in water, it will dissolve. Okay, it will mix. So why they mix in each other? Because salt and water both are inorganic in nature. Okay, so the one thing should be similar in the solution, in the things, in the substances, so that they can mix or they can dissolve. Now there is a word miscible. What does miscible means? Miscible means two liquids which completely dissolve in each other. Miscible word is only used for liquids. Okay, so miscible, if two liquids form a completely uniform mixture, when added together, they are said to be miscible. Okay, so there are two words which are again opposite to each other, like soluble and insoluble. There are two words, miscible and immiscible. Okay, miscible and immiscible. So miscible are those liquids which dissolve in each other, which completely combines, and immiscible are those liquids which does not dissolve. Okay, miscible and immiscible, and these words are used only for liquids, the two or more than two liquids which we mix. Okay, now alloys. Alloys are the mixtures of elements, especially metals. Okay, you studied it. You studied them also. That alloys are when two solids are mixed in each other. Okay, two or more than two solids are combined in each other to give them strength. Okay, to increase the strength. And how alloys are made, because we know that solids, they have a definite structure, so they cannot be mixed in each other. So there is a way, the proper technique to mix them. First we melt the metals. Okay, first we melt them. Once they are in the molten form, liquid form, we mix them together and then we let them cool, so they'll become solid again. Okay, so that's how we will make alloys, and alloys are to give strength to the substance. Hmm? Which one? A solution is a chemical change. No. Solutions, they are not completely irreversible. They are reversible. I think I told you or not. No, reversible. First point is, like, there is a in physical change that it is reversible. It can be easily reversed. Okay, and chemical change, it is some of the chemical changes, some of the solutions, they are reversible, but it's very hard to reverse them. That's why we write irreversible. Okay, but they can be reversed. Okay, remember. So in the next chapter, we will study separating techniques. Okay, separating techniques. So in separating techniques, we will see that the solution can also be it out. Okay, but it's very hard. We have to do different like distillation technique or fractional distillation to separate the solutions. Okay. Hmm? Inshallah, yeah. The girls were coming to the campus. They'll do experiments, inshallah. Okay. Now there is a word saturated solution, term saturated solution. A solution that contains as much dissolved solute as possible at a particular temperature. It means, in simple language, saturated solution is that solution in which no more solute can be dissolved. No more solute can be dissolved or added. So if we have water, okay, and we'll add salt in it, so and stir it continuously. So we will keep on adding salt, it will dissolve, and a time comes when no more salt dissolves in that solvent, in that water. Okay, it will start settling down at the bottom. Did you observe this? Hmm. So the salt, it starts settling down at the bottom. So that solution is known as saturated solution, and that point is called saturated point. Okay, when the point where the point which is reached when no more salt is dissolved, when it starts settling down, that is saturation point. Okay, and the solution is called saturated solution. Now concentration and solubility, these two terms are like a little bit similar to each other. Okay, but there is a little difference, solubility and concentration. See the difference, that a concentration is a mixture of how much solute is dissolved in a solvent, and a solubility is a measure of how much of a solute dissolves in a solvent. Okay, is dissolved in a solvent and how much solute dissolves in a solvent. Okay, for the solubility, for ility, what did I tell you for the word ility? Yeah, it becomes ability. Yeah. So solubility is the ability of a solute to dissolve. Okay, so solubility is ability of a solute ability of a solute to dissolve. And concentration is how much it is dissolved. means it's already dissolved in it. Okay, already a solution is made. Concentration is when we have a solution, okay, and we will see that how much solute is dissolved in it. Okay, and solubility is the ability, means we have a solute, okay, we have a solute like we have a salt, okay, and we will check that how much of it is dissolved, can be dissolved, okay, what is its ability to be dissolved in water or in other substance. Okay, so solubility is ability of a substance before dissolving, before making a solution, and concentration is after the solution. After the solution has been formed, then we will see that how much it is dissolved in it. Okay, so it can be more amount also, more concentrated, it can be less concentrated also. Okay, but it's a measure of how much it is dissolved. So if you understand, then you can write these two definitions properly. Okay, there's a little difference between them. Have you understood? Online girls, any question, Rita? No, girls. Ladies, are you here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, concentration and solubility. Are these two terms clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Okay, if you're still having any confusion, then you can ask anytime. Okay, next, let's move on. Solubility of solids in liquids. Okay, now the diagram is explaining everything, that when solid substance is dissolved in a liquid solvent, okay, liquid solute, and it's dissolving in a solvent, when it dissolves, then the water particles or whatever the solvent particles are, they surround the solute particles and they get dissolved in it. Okay, this is dissolving process. So solubility of solids in liquids. Now once the solution has been made, it depends upon the amount of solute, that if the amount of solute is more, then the solution is called concentrated solution. Concentrated solution. If solute amount is more as compared to the solvent, okay, as compared to the solvent. So concentrated solution, you know already that more solute and less solvent. Am I right or wrong? Concentrated solution, do you remember? Concentrated solution is the solution in which there is more solute, more amount of solute and less solvent. Okay,
Yes.
like this one, like a container in which water is less in amount, okay, solvent is less in amount, but we will add the whole chunk of the big chunk of salt in it, and it dissolves completely. Okay, so that is concentrated solution in which there is more amount of solute. And if the amount of solute is less as compared to the solvent, then it's called dilute. Oh, very good. Dilute solution. Okay, so a dilute solution is when solute is in less amount and solvent is in more amount, more solvent. Okay, so that is dilute solution. Do not get confused between a saturated solution and concentrated solution. Okay, saturated solution is different, although in saturated solution also there is more amount of solute. Okay, but saturated solution is the one in which we cannot add more solute. Okay, so like it has reached its maximum limit. Okay, it has received or dissolved maximum amount of solute in it, so it cannot dissolve further amount. Okay, but in concentrated solution we can add more amount. Okay, more solute can be dissolved. Okay, in both of them there is more amount of solute. Okay, but the difference is in saturated we cannot add more. Okay, it cannot dissolve more, and in concentrated solution we can add more. Okay, so these are the difference.
Okay.
Saturated and concentrated. And dilute solution, less solute, like a water and a pinch of salt in it, so it's a dilute solution. Okay, again there's a saturated solution. To get more solid to dissolve, the temperature must be increased. Okay, this line, I will just highlight it. Okay, solubility depends on temperature. So solubility of any substance, it depends upon temperature also. Okay, to get more solid to dissolve, the temperature must be increased. Uh, solid, to dissolve solid in liquid. Okay, and for liquid and liquid also, it's the same thing, but it's different for the gas. Okay, for the solubility, to make more solid soluble in water, in liquid, we have to increase the temperature, because when the temperature is increased, the particles gain more energy, they start moving faster. Okay, they create more space between them, okay, between the particles. So intermolecular space increases, okay, and then the solute particles can adjust themselves more in that available space, so more particles can come. Okay, that's why the solubility increases as the temperature increases. So remember, the temperature and solubility, the ability of a solute to dissolve. Okay, so that ability also increases when we increase the temperature. Okay, because the particles create more intermolecular space between them, and more solute particles can come or adjust in that given space. Okay, so that's why solubility increases. Now, solubility of gases in liquids. Okay, gases are also soluble in liquid. Can you give me an example of a gas in liquid?
Like carbonated water and cold drinks.
Yes, cold drinks, fizzy drinks. Very good. Okay, in carbonated drinks, there is carbon dioxide and other gases dissolved in like syrup or sugar water or any other thing. Okay, whatever they are. So in water, in liquid, these gases, they are dissolved, or they are pressured actually. Okay, because of the pressure, they are induced in it, in the water. So solubility of these gases, solubility gets lower. Okay, for the gas, it's the opposite. Their solubility decreases with the temperature. So when the temperature is increased for gases, their solubility decreases. Okay, that's why if you observe that when the cold drink is warm, then it produces more gas when you open it. Okay, when you open or when you drink it. When you drink it, then when you take a sip, then you can feel it more. Okay, when you take a sip of cold or chilling fizzy drink, then you will feel less gas as compared to the gas which comes from the warm cold drink, a warm carbonated drink. Okay, so when the temperature is increased, when it's warm, then the solubility becomes less. Okay, and the gas starts coming out. Okay, and in seas and oceans also, because of the global warming, in seas and oceans, the different type of gases are dissolved in them. Okay, so the marine animals and plants, they take in those gases. Okay, for their survival, they need those gases, so the gases are dissolved in water. But when the temperature is increased, of temperature of the water, it gets increased because of the global warming, then these gases, they become less soluble, they start escaping the water. Okay, and then the marine life gets affected. Okay, because of the less oxygen and less carbon dioxide in it. Okay, so this is the thing which is written here. The examples, the first example, here it is written, the example of carbonated drinks. Okay, and it's written that unlike most solids, in the first line, highlighter. Okay, unlike most solids, gases become less soluble in water, okay, as the temperature rises. Okay, so the solubility of the gases from the air in water are quite small, but the amount of dissolved oxygen is enough to support the fish and aquatic life. Okay, but when the temperature is increased, the solubility becomes less. Okay, the gases escape from the ocean and the marine life gets affected because of this, marine or aquatic life. Okay, and same is with the fizzy drinks. Okay, so this is the solution or introduction of the solution. Okay, and in the next chapter you will study it deeply, because we will study separating techniques. Okay, when the different type of things are, when solids are solids and liquid, when we have solid and liquid solution, how we can separate them. Okay, when we have liquid solution, how we can separate. Okay, gas and liquid, how to separate. So we will study different separating techniques in the next chapter. Okay, our last topic of this chapter is diffusion. What's diffusion? Hmm? That I know that you already know this. Yeah. Yes, online girls. What's diffusion?
That particles
Movement of
reach
a
a
higher concentration to
particular
a lower
Huh?
concentration.
so partially
Very good. Very good. Excellent. Movement of particles from an area of high concentration to the area of low concentration. Good. Okay. And what does concentration mean here?
It means that there are many particles in a small area.
Yeah.
the amount.
Concentration means amount. Okay, amount with the quantity. Good. So the area of low concentration means less number of particles, and high concentration means more number of particles. Okay. So the particles in a container, if we have like lots of particles present, okay, lots of particles, and if we make a hole here, so the particles will start moving outside. Okay, because this is the nature of particles, that they want to move from the area where their amount is high to the area where their amount is low or no amount. Okay, very less amount. So this is what happens in perfume and with all the gas particles. When you pop the balloon, the gas comes out. Okay, and in the liquids also is the same thing. In solids also, when you this example of potassium permanganate. Okay, if you take a water, if you take water and you put a small amount of potassium permanganate powder, okay, then it will start dissolving in water. Okay, that's diffusion. So the particles from those small blocks or powder, from the particles here, there is high concentration in these blocks of potassium permanganate, and they move to the lower concentration, okay, where there is no concentration. So after some time we'll see that the whole water becomes purple. Can you tell me the formula of potassium permanganate? What's the symbol for potassium?
K.
Okay. Yeah. And manganate, potassium is a metal. Metal always comes first. Okay. So potassium K. Manganate is MnO4. Okay. This is manganate ion. So when it splits in water, when it dissolves in water, it splits into K positive and MnO4 negative. So this is potassium ion, and this is polyatomic ion, manganate ion. Okay, the big molecular ion. Inshallah, we'll study these polyatomic big ions in ionic bonding. Okay, when we study ionic bond. So this is an ionic compound, potassium permanganate or potassium manganate. It dissolves in water. Okay, so the main points are, the main ideas involved in diffusion are: the particles move from a region of high concentration towards a region of low concentration. Eventually, the particles are evenly spread. Their concentration is the same throughout. Okay, so at the end of the diffusion, their concentration becomes uniform in the whole container. Number two, the rate of diffusion in liquids is much slower than in gases. Why? Rate word, when the rate word comes, it means speed. Okay, speed and how much it spreads or how much it moves with the passage of time. Okay, how much it moves in a particular time. So the speed of diffusion means the movement of particles. Okay, so the movement of particles in liquids is slower than in gases, and we already know this, that the gas particles, their speed is high as compared to solids and liquids. Okay, because they have more energy and space available also, more intermolecular space is available, so their movement is fast as compared to the other states. Okay, so that is why the diffusion rate also is faster in gases. So the rate of diffusion in liquids is slower as compared to gases. Number 3, diffusion does not take place in solids as the particles cannot move from place to place. They cannot leave their place. Okay, that's why solids cannot dissolve in solids. Okay, solid-solid diffusion, we cannot observe solid-solid diffusion because they cannot leave their place. What about sand? It's a mixture, no? So it will not dissolve in water. It's again the solid particles. Okay, and diffusion definition is written here. Keyword: the process by which different fluids mix as a result of the random motion of their particles. You can write this definition also, or you can write the definition which you already know. Okay, the movement of particles from high to low concentration. That's diffusion. Okay. Next one, again, the same example, the purple potassium manganate example is explained in this paragraph in dissolving. Okay, potassium permanganate example, KMNO4. Now, diffusion in gases. Okay, the gases also spread, like I gave you the example of a balloon. So when we pop the balloon, then it spreads. A few drops of liquid bromine are put into a gas jar. Okay, the next one on page number 17, you can see the diagram of bromine water. Okay, bromine water is brown in color. Okay, bromine water is brown in color, and it gives vapors. Okay, it gives off brownish vapors. So when we put bromine water in a gas jar, see this diagram, okay, figure 1.20, bromine water in a gas jar, and the above gas jar we put one gas jar here straight, okay, and the other gas jar we put inverted. Okay, so in one of the gas jar means one straight and one the other one inverted. In the first gas jar there is bromine water. Okay, so after some time we will observe that the other gas jar also filled with brown vapors. Okay, so the vapors, they are actually gas particles. Okay, so this is the example of diffusion in gases. Okay, it spreads, it moves, and the diffusion in gases, remember, the gas diffusion is faster as compared to liquids. Okay, you can see in this one also, in the other gas jar also, it's empty. There is no liquid to dissolve, there is no solid, nothing is present, only the gas is present. Okay, so the vapors, they spread and they show diffusion in the gas. Okay, so in the gas there is more space available, so diffusion is faster, movement is faster. Okay. Few drops of liquid bromine are put into a gas jar and the lid is replaced. The liquid bromine evaporates easily. Liquid bromine is highly volatile. Okay, it has like high ability to evaporate. After a short time, the brown gas begins to spread throughout the jar. The jar becomes full of brown gas. Bromine vapors easily and bromine vaporizes easily and its gas will completely fill the container. Okay, that's diffusion in gases. Okay, and the next paragraph is written about the speed. Okay, so this chapter is almost complete. Okay, these few points are left. So inshallah, we can discuss these points in the next class. Okay, and over the weekend, try to solve the worksheet which I will post today. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Okay, time is up, and just I suggest you to read this whole chapter, okay, whenever you get time, and highlight the points in which you are confused. Okay, so we can discuss them in the next class or in during next week, inshallah. Okay.
Okay.
Then we will solve the end of chapter. Okay, you can go. Make a line.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Take care.
Love.